Hey everybody, and welcome to Tatter-a-fact here at the Girlz Ink studio in Las Vegas, and got a great episode today. I'm super stoked, all the way from England or the UK, right? Yep, doesn't matter. We have Carrie Wellstead and Jess Abbott. Yes, otherwise known as the Scalp Sisters.
Indeed.
Right? You are two individual people.
Yeah, we are
But
two separate people.
Yeah, but you formed the collaboration and the brand, the Scalp Sisters. Yeah, which I love. I love that.
Thank you.
So,
So do we.
Which is self-explanatory, right?
Yeah.
You do scalp work.
Yes.
And you're over here in Vegas. So let's just give them you're over here in Vegas because you just did a class here.
Yes, and it
Yeah.
was
Brilliant.
amazing.
Yeah, it was really amazing having you
good.
here.
Thank you very much.
We've loved it.
Yeah, it was a great class, and the students loved it, the models loved it, and you're coming back. You're coming back next year.
Hell yeah.
We are indeed.
Yeah.
We're
I'm-
just trying to plan the
wait.
next date now, aren't we?
So,
Yeah.
but you're teaching classes in around the UK area, is that correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
And okay, and this was your first class in America.
It was.
Yeah.
First one. So we do so we've both got so we live about 2.5 hours from each other. So we've got our own separate clinics, and then we do some at Jess's, we do some at mine, and then we've done some guest spots at other clinics in
Okay.
the UK as well.
Yeah, we've
which
travelled
is
around
cool.
the little parts of the UK, aren't we? I mean, the UK's tiny, so it doesn't really
Yeah,
take
2.5 hours is like really far to us. So you're probably like, oh,
Yeah.
that's up the road then.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really far, isn't it?
I know, but that's what I love about the UK. I mean, when we go over there and teach, you know, you can jump on a plane and you can be in.
You can
I
get
mean,
everywhere.
Yeah, you could jump on a train. I mean, and be in Italy in a couple hours, or Paris in
Yeah.
a couple hours.
Well,
and-
the
you're
UK is
closer
so connected to Europe as well, and I mean,
Yeah.
I'm actually down that part of the country as well, where you literally just hop on. I'm
I
closer
love
to France.
that about UK and Europe. Being UK, do you love that the European
e-
countries are that
yeah.
connected and close? And 'cause
It's
you,
easy, isn't it? for
Yeah,
travel and
it's
stuff,
easy travel.
and
It's
easy
We
travel.
are lucky.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, because you guys are like, just you're the other side, aren't you? But then you travel
Yeah.
easy
Well,
around.
Yeah.
how much bigger is Nevada probably than the UK? And it's a state, isn't it? We could probably get
Yeah.
the UK in there a few times. So
Probably.
We're
Probably.
tiny, aren't we?
Well, I love the
Small but
UK.
mighty.
Yeah, I love the UK, London in particular, and maybe I'm half English, yes, and I'm half Irish.
Oh,
I've got Irish blood
Yes,
as well.
so my dad
Me
is
too.
We might be related.
Yeah, we might be related. My dad is a full-blooded Irishman, and the other side of my family is English. And so when we were just, you know how you can do all those blood things, DNA
Yeah, I've
things,
done one of
right?
those.
So your DNA history and trace back your family roots. Well, I did it, and my family goes back. I mean, what 100 or years to a neighborhood, a village in London.
oh, really?
Yeah, and I just found that
That's
out
why
like
you're drawn to it.
I just found that
It's in
out.
your blood.
Yeah, about a year and a half ago.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
And I got goosebumps because I
Yeah,
told
I bet.
Kat, I'm wondering if that's why I'm so drawn and feel such a connection to like London, England. Like and you know when-
Energy. That's energy.
Yeah.
isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Not everyone
So
loves
kinda
London,
crazy.
do they? So the fact that you do, people I think either love it or hate it. Like they find it either too much or it's everything to them. So, which is like you say, probably why you feel
was
connected.
drawn.
Yeah.
Even artists. Once the because when I first started in PMU, the world wasn't connected. The PMU industry wasn't connected. It was
No.
very segregated. Like in the U.S., the U.S. PMU industry, we only knew what we were doing in each other's cities. We didn't know what each other was
Yeah.
doing in other states unless we met at a convention. We certainly didn't even. We probably didn't even think PMU was being done in England or any other country because we weren't. There was no internet.
I think it was just very separated.
Yeah,
wasn't
it was
back
so
then? 'Cause-
separated. Yeah,
And it was the same when we started. It was so separate.
So
so
separate.
separate. And I think
And it-
social media has obviously helped
yeah, and it
massively
wouldn't
with that.
surprise me if we thought us like
We were the only ones doing
we're-
it.
Like, yeah, we're the only ones doing it in the U.S. because we just didn't know. But once and it was Naomi Waite actually who started the very first Facebook group in PMU, and she's based in England, in northern England, Lancaster. Is that how I say it, or Lancashire?
There's Lancashire.
Yeah,
Lancashire. And that's, of course, when you realize it's like, of course they're doing it in other countries. But right away, I made relationships with people in UK and England, very drawn to artists over there, their personalities, and have a lot of friendships. But anyway, let's get to the more interesting stuff. So so you do scalp work. Would you say that is, first, let me ask you, is that all you do in PMU scalp work, or do you do brows, eyeliner, and lips?
We do. We do. We both do. We both do brows, liner, lips,
Do
nipples,
medical areola,
medical
freckles
tattooing,
even, which I think is
freckles.
a bit controversial, but I like little freckle tattoos.
Yeah, well, just about everything's controversial in
Isn't it
this
just?
industry,
This
isn't
whole
it?
industry. I was just about to say this.
Yeah.
This whole industry and
It's-
everyone in it.
You can, you can
is-
debate and
could.
every single topic
You could.
in here.
You could.
How to do it, whether to do it or not, whether
Yeah.
it
Is
should
it
be
right,
done,
is it
how to
wrong?
do it, what needle do you? Yeah, you can debate every single topic.
You could. And you could
Um,
almost contradict.
Yeah, yeah. Look, freckles are controversial. A lot of people don't think freckles should be done, but
I love them.
you know what? I think if they're done responsibly,
Yep.
then I think it's a great procedure and can be done.
Yep.
So I think they should be done in a manner where they will fade out of the skin.
100%.
And
Exactly
right?
that. Yeah.
It will fade out.
that.
So let me ask you,
Yeah.
do you use inorganic pigments when you're doing freckles?
Inorganic and then
more
dilute.
superficial.
100%.
dilute,
Yeah.
Nothing too dark, more of like a light mid brown because it's going to heal a little bit darker and cooler.
Yeah,
Even if
yeah.
you're not careful anyway.
Yeah.
And just easy on the pressure.
Right.
But
I mean, I had a
think
lady
most-
come in with horrendous freckles. They were like black.
Like
dots.
blackheads.
Well, we're removing.
did.
Like blackheads. It can look really, really good.
Yeah.
Or it can look really, really bad.
Yeah.
Really bad.
It can look really, really bad.
And the
But I
bad
think
ones
all,
do
I
look
think
bad.
all PMU and SMP, I think it should all be taken with care. It should
Yeah.
all look timeless.
Weird, because anything
That's
can
another.
look good or
That
bad.
leads on to
Yeah.
more
Well, I
things as
think
well.
that even if they're done, even if they're done with organics, even if they're done really, really well, brilliantly, and they look fantastic, there's a potential that they're going to end up looking really, really bad
Yep.
because there's a potential they will not leave the skin with an organic, especially if you're using the darker colors that have a large load of carbon in them.
Yeah.
So, so I think it's all, that's why we have to be strategic thinkers, critical thinkers, and really think about the type of pigment
Yeah.
that we're going to use
Yeah.
and for all the different procedures that we do. I think most things can be done very skillfully and
Being responsible, isn't
yeah,
it?
and you can predict aging, make sure it's going to age well
Yeah.
if you're really thinking.
I think you have to
thinking.
think about how it's going to look in 20 years' time, 5
Yeah,
years, 10
age
years, 15.
appropriate.
It's got to be like go back.
No, that's a
timeless.
good point, Jess. But do you think that most of the industry is thinking
No.
long term, or do you think a lot of the industry, I don't want to say most, a lot of the industry or artists are thinking about that Instagram,
I
what
think
it
that-
looks on Instagram right
I
now?
think exactly that's
We
what, and I
touched
think
on
that
that,
is
didn't we?
the. I think that is a little bit of a problem actually.
It's a big
It is.
problem.
It isn't because that Instagrammable photo isn't. You know, I don't want to speak out of term here about anything or anyone, but it's not real. Sometimes it's real.
Oh, no, you
But
can
it's-
say
it's not-
that.
it's not real, and I think it's important for new artists that are coming into this
Yeah.
industry because it's forever evolving. That they understand that it's okay to look at pictures like that, and it's okay to post pictures like that. But what isn't okay is for it to be said that that's how
Yeah.
it's got to
to
look.
market it as that
Yeah,
as
like actually, let's get some real work
right,
out there.
right.
This is how it's. This
like
is what's going to happen.
unfiltered, raw
Yes.
pictures
Yeah,
and
let's
video
bring
of
the
the work.
rawness
Saying,
back.
weren't
I'm
we?
quite passionate about that
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
We were saying
We-
about the pixels, about the pixels and stuff.
Can you hear her, Willow? I'm sorry, you can?
So we were saying about the pixels and stuff, and I think it's beautiful and it showcases a certain skill, a certain application, and a certain technique. I'll post photos that say nice little airy pixels, da 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 da,
Yeah.
but they still heal differently. They don't stay looking like those perfect little pixelated
No,
dots.
no.
It's a technique that I've
Right.
applied to do the
Yeah.
work.
Yeah,
you
and
know?
you work really hard. So we talk about this stuff a lot on the podcast, and I'm glad we do. But we talk about it in a manner just like you guys are presenting it now. There's a way to talk about these topics. We should be able to talk about these
Yeah.
things in an honest, raw, transparent conversation.
Yeah, without offending
without
anyone.
offending
It's
anybody.
okay
Because
to
we-
disagree.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know?
But we're
exactly
not
that.
angry
No.
about,
No.
you know.
No.
It's just let's just keep it real.
let's just keep
Yeah.
it
And
real.
yeah.
I think that's what creates community, and you know, and that's what makes for a really interesting conversation. Is when, you know, a lot of people that come on this podcast, you know, we have different philosophies,
Yeah,
and we use different needles. We think differently.
Yeah.
And what works for one person doesn't work for
100%.
another.
We do
Anyway, so
completely
nothing's
different.
set in, is it? It's
No.
what works for you and your client.
I always say,
Yeah.
you know, like 1 + 8 is 9, 2 + 7 is 9,
Yeah.
6 + 3 is 9.
Exactly that.
There's a lot of different avenues to a beautiful result,
Yeah.
right? And all that really matters is the beautiful result, and people forget the and that it ages just as beautifully
100%.
and leaves the skin in an appropriate time frame, right?
It's being ethical,
Agreed.
isn't it? And
Yeah.
I think, like, I've done work from when I first started, and then
Future-proofing.
when I started doing removals, I was like, right, go through my like list of contacts, thinking who can I message? Like, you know, your very first work that at the time you were so proud of, and we were looking at our really old work from when we first started a while ago, and we're like,
It's scary to look at your old work,
Yeah.
because
We
you
was
look at it and
having
you're
a
like,
giggle,
are you
weren't
kidding
we?
me?
Yeah.
It was honestly, it was like,
and I'm
we
like,
s-
please let me remove them because I'm okay with that. I'm like, you know, I'm
it's
confident
growth.
enough.
It's
yeah,
growth in life. Everyone
Yeah.
grows.
but our old
We
ones-
all have work like that.
But we
all
didn't have
work like that.
training. We didn't have
Oh my
training
God.
like there is nowadays.
Yeah, no.
It wasn't there.
No.
Most of us
no.
were self-taught.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same when I was coming up, you know, with the training. There's a lot of not great training now, but there's more good and ready
there's
available
more-
training
and
as
information.
well, and information where there wasn't
And the online
years and years
content
ago.
that's available now is
Yeah.
amazing, especially
Yeah.
more for, I think, master classes than
Yeah.
beginners. But
So how long have you both been doing PMU?
So I'm about 7.5 years.
You're 7.5
now, so about
years,
7
and
and
you
a half
just
10.
and you're 10. So did you start out doing SMP, or did you moved into that? When did because SMP is, we're going to get into SMP in a minute, but I'm just really curious, why SMP? So I'm going to ask you first, Carrie.
Yep.
Is what was it about SMP? How did you end up moving into SMP? What was it about that attracted you to
So
it?
I was obviously doing PMU, so started, I think, like quite a few people started with microblade and then wanted to learn machine, started learning machine. I'm always wanting to know something else and do something else. And then I moved to Canada back in 2018, and I was like, right, how can I like attract new clients? I'm in a country, in a city where I know no one and I have no client base, and I was thinking of innovative ways to meet people. And I'd seen it online a few times and just thought, literally, it sparked something. And I guess, and I was just like, that is so cool. That literally looks like that.
So you're just attracted to it
Just
when you saw
attracted
it.
to it.
Same as me,
There was no like, with some things, it's because, you know, there's something personal to you or something like that. I think I just saw a post or something on social media and I was like, that is so cool. And I was like, I've got to learn this. Like, I need to know it. And then said to my husband, because he's bold on top, and I said to him, I was like, I'm learning SMP. I've got to take a model. You're going to have it done. He didn't want it
Well,
done.
of course he
didn't
well,
want
of
it
course
done.
he
didn't want
is.
You
it, well,
didn't want it
and
done.
you've seen what I did to
Was it-
him.
oh.
It was shit.
It was shit.
It was. My thought process was good, wasn't it? Bless my little
I
heart.
I literally.
Your intentions were good.
They were. And
You
I was
loved
trying
the
to
man.
be creative.
It wasn't unsavable.
No, because luckily I
Kerry
did
showed-
removal. So
When Kerry
So
first
what
showed
are
me
you
it-
saying, Jess? It wasn't as bad as she's making it out to be, or was it?
I'm trying
Come
to be
on
nice,
now.
I
You're
think.
trying to be
no,
nice.
it was like, so how he wanted, like, so basically he had like hair there, but it was just like receded and thinning. Obviously now I'm like, yeah, we can do X, Y, Z, but we have to do this. And at the time he's like, I don't want it to come remotely out of where I've got hair, which just
I wish that right now you
Shut
had a little caption of what it looked.
I'll have to try and find
So
it
maybe
again.
yeah.
I'm
maybe
so
we can.
horrible.
But
Because
it made me want to get good at it because I was like, my husband had to go to
'Cause
work.
it pissed you off. That you
It did piss me off that I couldn't do it really good at
Yeah,
first,
yeah, yeah.
and I was fuming, and I
you're
was like,
amazing now, though.
Thank
You was
you.
amazing after.
So
Thank
does he
you.
still look like shit, or did you fix
No, he
it, or is
doesn't
he
look like
looking
shit
good
anymore. He
now,
looks
or
good.
he's
He
looking
looks
handsome?
good.
He's
He
looking
looks
good.
good.
All right,
Really
good,
looks
good,
good.
good.
Yeah.
So
Used
how?
lift on him as well.
Oh, you used the lift on him, yeah.
Yes.
But you know what? I always wondered actually, and I forgot to ask you that. So I'm glad that just came up because I thought his head doesn't look like that
No.
photo. It
Lift.
just didn't. Yeah.
So she removed it with lift.
She
Yeah.
removed it with lift.
So
And obviously it's
so let
worked
me ask
well.
you this: so after you removed it with lift, because lift works really well
Really
with
Well,
SMP,
I
did you
mean-
go back in and redo it, retattoo it?
in areas. So some
In
bits I
areas.
just sort of like faded it a little bit rather than like complete removal of it.
Okay,
So I
I
was just looking
gotcha.
to get it a little bit lighter. Like there's a couple of blowouts, just like placement in a couple of bits, and
Okay.
yeah, just literally lightened it. Some I got right out, some just lightened and then just worked and blended. And now you'd never know.
Okay.
You
It
literally
looks
would
good
never
now.
know.
He just
It
looks
looks
like
really
he
good.
shaved his head.
It looks
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh.
That's all right.
When she first sent me the photo,
I'm
I didn't
offended.
say anything.
She didn't even
I
reply.
didn't reply.
She didn't
couldn't
reply.
even speak
Well, she
to
had to
me.
think about, I know.
Our
It's like
business,
she was in
like-
shock. I
I was
mean,
like, that's my business partner.
she was a bit taken back.
But you had to
I
go
know.
to work like that. It's
Yeah.
in a big like corporate office. You had
Yeah.
to go into.
So how did you get into it,
I'm
Jess?
trying to remember, to be honest. Okay, so I got into it literally so I was doing permanent makeup. first of all.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Did you guys know each other before SMP? No. Okay.
No.
So how did you get into it?
So I was doing permanent makeup, and I was only doing permanent makeup, and I wanted to be a full-time permanent makeup artist. I wanted to do, I didn't want to go off and do different beauty treatments. I wanted to do that. And at the time, there was just people talking about SMP, and I thought, what is that? What even is that? And when I started looking online, actually, I was quite amazed that is a tattoo, because when it's done properly, it doesn't look like a tattoo, does it? It
No.
really doesn't. It doesn't look like a tattoo. Now, it was more male dominated then. Like there was more men having it done.
Still male
It's
dominated,
still-
which we're going
it
to
is
talk
still-
about.
Yeah, exactly. We move on to that. But yeah, so I thought, oh, okay, I'll have a go.
I'll have a bit of that.
That's kind of how I am. I just thought, I'll have a go at that.
And did you like it immediately?
Yeah,
How-
I did.
So let me ask you: was your first head shit? Because that's what the
Yeah,
English
it
say,
went-
right? That's
yeah,
shit.
Yeah, my first head was, I don't even think it held, to be honest. I think I was,
Luckily,
I think-
if it would
Oh,
look
it didn't
I
help.
don't- I don't
So you
think
got
it really
lucky; it
helped.
all fell out.
yeah, exactly that.
I'm like Stu.
So perhaps that's why I just found it
Yeah.
was funny.
Well, for
yeah,
it's
I think my pressure was super.
super light.
You're picturing it.
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
I'll
Yeah, it
find
was.
this for you.
But you know what? Actually, the training that I had was actually it was good for SMP.
Yeah, mine was
it was
not
good.
good.
It was good. I did the training in the UK. Actually, a guy, I can't remember his name now. That's really bad. But he came over, and he was from California. And he came over and helped the English guy that I trained with under like a company. So it was quite good because we had a couple of trainers, but again, they were two male. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but
Right,
we only really did men.
man.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
Too. Okay.
So I liked it, but not as much as how I'm obsessed now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you both learn SMP. You got your own
Yeah.
studios. Well, you guys call them clinics.
Yeah.
And you call sweaters jumpers and sneakers trainers and,
your
standing in the
trousers.
line. It's in the
What was it
loo.
the other day when I said jump on the couch to the
So to
Yeah.
the students, and
To
they
the
like just
student.
were all like,
no, it was to the model.
Yeah.
She went, the couch?
Yeah.
That's a really bad accent. I'm really sorry.
Are you imitating an American accent? Is that what
I
you're
was
doing?
trying to, yeah. And then was like looking around. I was like, just the bed. She went, you call that a couch?
well, and bathroom. No, I said, oh, I need the loo.
I need the toilet.
I need the
loo.
loo.
The
And they're
loo.
like,
You call the
what?
bathroom the loo.
Yeah.
But don't you even call the queue, standing in line? Because when I first came to England, go stand in the queue, and I'm like the queue, and they're like,
What is
yeah.
this?
It's
You
funny.
mean
Like,
you
we
mean
talk the same language, but it's actually like there is a big difference.
Well, we were
Yeah.
saying this with the students, weren't we? Because obviously a couple of things come up in the teaching
Yeah.
notes. Can I just check? Is
Yeah.
that or is that?
Well,
And we're like,
well,
oh,
yeah. Well,
yeah. But it was fine.
Our
We
language
made it in the end. It was cool.
was born in England,
It was.
right? And then, then
It
of
was
course,
indeed.
the settle is in
Tweaked it a little
America.
bit.
We tweaked it like we tweaked everything. We tweak
really
everything.
confuse like the people that don't speak English.
Yeah.
Whether they learn English or
Well, like say American English or-
Well, it's just like the Chinese. There's different dialects. Even I think
Mad.
even in Spanish, there's different dialects. So it's probably same kind of thing. Okay, so you're each in your own studios. You're doing your permanent makeup, doing your thing, and now you're each doing SMP.
Yeah.
Okay, so how did the two of you meet and form the Scalp Sisters? Like, how was that born?
So it's on Instagram, wasn't it? I
It was
think.
born online, yeah. So during obviously the big C, the COVID,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Lockdown.
actually sort of taking it back to what you said earlier, Teryn, actually about when you said that we wasn't really connected, we didn't really know anybody. I think it was still quite massively like that in our area. Not as much.
No, but COVID
because you
was
have-
good for us, wasn't
But
it? A lot of
COVID, yeah,
people.
it was. I hate to say it, but COVID in a way, obviously financially, it wasn't for us.
Mm-hmm.
But for friendship building, I think a lot of people came together.
Yeah.
I think people, they found love and energy within one another online because it was a common interest.
Right.
And we were just chatting along with
I think we
lots of other
followed
people,
each other, didn't we, on
following
Instagram
people.
and
You know, we, you know, I like to think that I'm a supportive artist. So, you know, I'd go on her page and just support, and you know, we.
I don't even know how we
It's just a
found each other's
chit-chat.
pages,
I
to
don't
be
even
honest. But
remember.
we're following each other.
Yeah,
And I
we're
think
following.
we were following each other, and we just sort of like. I think
It
we
was a
started commenting more and then messaging a bit more, didn't we? And getting a bit more
And
chatty.
basically, what it was is Kerry then went, "Hey, I'm going to this Christmas do thing in Manchester."
Was it the Manchester one?
It was
Yeah,
Manchester. Do you want to come? And I went, yeah, I'll come. And that was it, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because actually, before that, we hadn't really.
We'd never
we
met in
weren't-
person.
We'd never met in person, but also, our friendship wasn't. It was very just online, and it wasn't all the
Yeah, it's
time.
like
there was actually other
PMU
people I used to
friends
speak
sort of
to
thing.
more.
You met in person.
Well, then she said to me, "You'll recognise me." So we met in London. So I got on the train from Kent to London.
Did she have this look?
Yes. She said,
because most of our listeners are streaming, so when I say this look, they don't know what we mean yet.
Oh,
So
I really
maybe
do.
we won't tell them, so they have to go to the YouTube page and watch us.
and see what this
Yeah.
look
Yeah.
is.
and what this look
Yeah,
is.
because you got a great look,
Thank you.
Carrie, which is complemented by Jess's look. We were talking about that last night.
Well,
Like if
yeah, I
two
think-
people were going to come together and form
Yeah.
a brand, and more than, I don't want to call it a collaboration because it's way beyond that now, right? Now it's a relationship.
It
Oh,
is.
100%.
We are a
yeah.
relationship.
No,
But she
you-
said,
we're
you'll
like-
recognise
No,
me.
you are.
I'm the lady with the.
I'm the lady with the,
Yeah.
So, yeah, we won't tell them.
Yeah, exactly that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it went, and then we went out, didn't we? And we met up with some other artists as well, which was great.
Yeah. It was good.
And but yeah, we just hit it off from there.
We got on the
and-
train, didn't we? Asked a lady very politely because it was like a really busy, fast train from London to Manchester, and you'd have to get your seat reserved. And so we got on the train, and we're like, because we booked from separate destinations or starting points, so we're like, oh, we're not sat together. And we got our drink from the train, like our prosecco and stuff, and we were like, oh, we're in different carriages. So this lovely lady, we were like, would you mind swapping seats? And then that was it, wasn't it? The prosecco come out.
As you
and
can
we
see, me and
didn't
Kerry just
stop.
talk all the time, and we
Yeah.
generally usually talk over one another, and we just didn't stop talking. And then we're both
No, you're
very.
a bit of me, you are.
She's a bit of me.
Okay.
She's a bit of me.
Yeah.
And it just
I
grew
love
from
it.
there. Our
Well, you
ideas grew from there, and we were both teaching as well. So we both were teaching the permanent makeup. I wasn't teaching the scalp. I was just teaching the permanent
I
makeup.
actually had no intention of teaching scalp, if
Me
I'm
neither.
completely honest. It wasn't, I just loved doing
So
it.
it's just kind of this organic,
and
natural.
we could do it together.
Yeah.
That's what makes it fun.
But we
Yeah.
have fun
We
while
could
we're
do
at
it
work.
together.
Like,
Right.
we're like
we can
gutted we
tattoo a
live
head
far
at the same
apart.
time.
So
Yeah.
and we were together last night talking a lot. So SMP has become both of you, for both of you, like your love, your true love.
Yeah.
Like you
100%.
both, your intention is to really just focus on that together as a Scalp Sisters. So let me ask you this: is SMP? Do you consider it a part of PMU, permanent makeup? Is it part of the permanent makeup industry, or is it its own little separate industry?
Yes
or
and yes.
Yes, I think it's
Yes
both,
and yes.
isn't it?
It's everything
It's
because
both.
it's tattooing.
it's
Any
tattooing.
pigment or ink that you're putting under the skin, whether it be by blade, by machine, the depth is the same as
Yeah.
well.
We're going
It's
into
all
the
it's all
dermis
the
with an
same
ink.
family. It all
Right.
sits under the same umbrella, and I think it works great hand in hand with permanent makeup. Because it's very light pressured as well. It's super light. Even permanent makeup artists think
Yeah,
it's light.
but you're still going into the dermis, aren't you?
yeah.
You're implanting into the dermis.
Yeah.
But then
It's gonna stay.
we tend to use more, obviously more inks, the more organics. So that's where it
More
kind of,
organics, yeah.
More
Yeah.
carbon.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So, okay, so I'm going to ask you a really interesting question. So, it's all tattooing. So, it's all tattooing. It's all the same thing. So, we have body tattooing, we have tattooing makeup, you know, replicating the look of makeup. We have scalp work, we have all that stuff. Do you think in 20, 30, 40 years from now, it will all be one big industry? The tattoo industry, rather than the permanent makeup industry, microblading industry, scalp industry, body tattoo industry. So I just named 4 different industries.
No idea if I'm
Do you
honest.
see? Do you see
interesting,
I think that
us evolving into one big
family.
industry called the tattoo industry?
Where we're all
and
friends.
some may
and live happily ever after.
yes, but some may specialize in replicating the look of makeup. Some may.
I think that's what I do think that. Yeah, I do.
I
Wouldn't
think
that
we
be
can all respect
fantastic?
I
each
think
other's
it will be
art.
really, really, really good.
Yeah.
And I think some people will struggle with that, and that's
I
okay.
think some people are struggling with
and
that
that's,
now.
and that's okay. That's how they feel.
Yeah.
But we're stronger together. We're better together.
Yeah.
It's a different technique.
Yep.
I mean, Christ, you could be, you could do, if you just was a brow artist, you'd still be doing it completely different to the person next to you. It's
Yeah,
just,
of course.
I've
That-
got a lot of tattoo friends, and they're actually really like respectful of what I do, and vice versa. I'm like, you're an artist, and people will say to me, "Oh, so do you do lots of body tattoos?" And something we spoke about, I can do like little diddly ones, but I'm not banging out a portrait of someone's face on
Right.
someone.
We've
I
actually
don't have
trained
that
quite a few
skill.
Right.
tattooists, actually, haven't we?
Yeah.
We've actually trained a few tattooists.
Yeah, but they're respectful of what I do, and they're like, I could not draw those tiny little hair strokes. You know, some of them can
Yeah.
do say portrait work or fine
Yeah.
stuff, and you know they're really respectful of it, or they haven't got the patience to do SMP because it does take a lot of patience, doesn't it, and concentration.
We should all be
But-
respectful of what each
Of
other
each
does.
other.
art,
Yeah,
isn't
just-
it? It's
it's-
art,
it's art.
expression,
100%.
It
It is art,
100%.
It is
I
art.
think-
And art, there's
Yeah.
no art.
And I think we're
there's no bad
evolving
art.
into that because, you know, I can remember
nice.
we were talking about Naomi Waite when she first started the very first Facebook group.
Mm-hmm.
And when we all kind of got on that, and it was, you know, a lot of people from the UK, a lot of Americans at first, and then some European
Bringing
artists
people
got on.
together.
cool,
It's
isn't
bringing
it?
people
How
But
cool is that?
do you know how it
nations.
was at first? This is what motivated me and Mary to start Shades and Strokes. It was the hair stroke brow pitted against
versus the powder.
the powder brow. Like a lot of artists that did the powder brow
Yeah.
was were very negative and didn't like the hair stroke brow, and then lots of artists that did the hair stroke brow were really negative and didn't like the powder brow, and it was like if you did one,
You couldn't do
you
another.
couldn't do another. It was separated between the two styles of hair strokes versus powder. And I remember talking to Mary, I want to do a class called Shades and Strokes where we teach both.
Yeah.
And
It's
we
like
why
just
can't
everyone
artists
does it.
learn?
Just come together. Just get over yourself.
It's all fucking eyebrows.
It's just get
Also,
over it.
yeah,
Exactly
but
that.
Also, not every skin can have a hair stroke.
Right.
And
And
not
not everybody
everything
wants a
knows.
powder
And not
brow.
everyone wants a powder
Yeah.
brow. It's just choice. Everyone's
right.
got a choice. Just
And
do
it's
what.
you, hon.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So, no, so I
Yeah.
think, so, you know, looking back to just that 10 years ago or 10, 12 years ago, I can see where we evolved because now we're not doing that to each other. Now, even microblading's entered the mix. You know, and there was a big backlash. A lot of people were really negative against, you know, microblading when it first entered. I never would. I was fascinated by it. It's all brows. So now there's microblading brows. There's hair stroke machine brows. There's powder brows. There's, you know, ombre brows. There's a solid striking bold. There's all kinds
If it's
of
done
brows.
right, it's beautiful,
If
and
it's
that's
done
okay.
right,
It's okay. Who wants
yes.
to be the same anyway?
Right.
I mean,
right.
we'd all look pretty weird if
Right.
we had the same.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Same
So
thing.
I love it.
Everyone
I
doesn't fit
yeah,
everyone, does it?
yeah. I see the industry progressing and evolving.
Massively
and,
evolving.
I
Yeah.
think it is. I think it is. I think sometimes the negativity gets more attention. Do you know?
That's
the-
like
the
anything
thing-
though, isn't it, as
It
well?
isn't that. Well, it gets more
think
attention
sometimes
because
that's
it's
why people
louder.
breathe,
It's
isn't it?
louder, right? It's louder. It's. But
But
no.
it's still drawing attention to the industry.
It's
so
still drawing attention to the industry, and I'm proud of our industry.
I
I'm
am.
really
Me
proud of
too.
it,
And I'm
yeah.
proud to be part
Not
of
that
it.
there's areas that couldn't be better, or areas that need to be corrected or fit or
There's
whatever.
growth in
but
there.
that's
isn't it?
every
It's
industry.
such a new industry, really.
Yeah.
It is.
Oh, we
Especially
really
like
are.
the more obviously tattooing it isn't, and it's one of the oldest industries. But
Yeah.
permanent makeup and SMP is a very new in
in the
comparison
grand
to.
scheme of
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about this. So I think a lot of people think that SMP is easy because it's just. I've heard that it looks easy. I hear that a lot. It looks easy,
We make it
and
look easy.
I've heard comments that it's not artistic. That like it's
You-
not artistic. It looks easy because it's just tiny little dots. You know, that's what. So let's. I've been dying to
So the
have you guys
dots.
address that.
This
Yeah,
is what
we struggle
everyone.
so do
the
you
word
call
dot.
them dots?
We do annoyingly, but we don't want to. But because we'll say to our students, right, so when you're doing your dot placement, and we're like, it's so much more than a dot. And we're like, it's an impression. You're making an impression with a needle and pigment in
And
the
then we've got
skin.
like little fly hairs as well. And they're
little
like, well, there's a fly hair. And it's
replica
just,
follicles, and
Yeah.
it's sort of like, because it isn't just a perfect little dot, like, you know, you're using particular needles, which we'll probably come on to, but particular needles, the
way you
angle that you're
implant it
penetrating
in the skin,
the
yeah.
skin, and it's, so yeah, we do probably do ourselves a disservice saying dots, but
and actually lots of people, when they, because we've done a few demos at conferences and events, permanent makeup and tattoo events, and people that have come over and watched, one thing they've said is, oh my God, I thought that doesn't look as easy as what I thought it was actually gonna be. And actually, it's not.
It's not, because
It's
you've
actually
got
not. It's all to do with your hand like muscle memory, because you have to kind of, you
there's
absolutely
no
have
room
to
for
get
error, is there?
there's
Like,
no room
it's
for error.
so
you have to hit it at the
unforgiving.
same pressure, and then obviously towards the front of someone's hairline, it's obviously super light pressure. And everyone's got different heads. Right. Some people have got
if they're
really,
textured,
kind of,
or like they've got pitted, haven't they? One of our models,
if someone's got
we were
quite,
working on this week, she had like one part was like really smooth, and then the next bit is like just going into butter. So like you're literally 2 dots away from each other, and the skin was completely different. So you've got to be like for 4 hours, 3 hours consistently on your game, that every single movement
you can't, there's no room for
could
error.
change.
How long do you? So if you have some like a dude come in who's bald and you're doing a whole head, can you do a whole head in one session?
Over
or do
3.
they leave with a half
So
a head
I always
done?
say, so
No.
this is my thing that we say. So scalp micropigmentation is like building a house. It's usually over 3 sessions. Sometimes you can get density depending on the area in 2 sessions, but let's just say it's over 3. So the first session, you lay down your foundations. So we like to put our dots, impressions in where you can maybe get around 3 or 4 other dots. Yeah, so that's the space in between.
So the first
It
session
kinda-
is lots of spacing.
Lots of spacing. One, to allow, obviously, for
it to settle.
it to settle in the
And
skin.
it grows a little, or to breathe.
Yeah,
Just so
basically.
it-
At the end of the day, we're putting ink into the skin.
Right.
It can
It's-
expand slightly. It needs to settle, and
And we
will
wanna see
probably
how it
take you.
heals.
And it will probably take you till next year if you just put in
Yeah.
a million dots on someone.
And I think that's probably most critical to the aging. A lot of questions I get asked, and I just got asked this today by one of my apprentices who's very, very interested in scalp work, is how does it age?
Done right, very well.
Very well.
Yeah.
And this is why you take it over the 3 sessions, and this is why. So you have the foundations in, and then the next session when they come back in, you're building the bricks. So you're then going in between them little impressions, dots, and then the third session you're putting your furniture in. So you can bring a hairline forward if you want to bring it in. You can add a little bit of depth from darkness.
We
to it.
sometimes change colour. We might switch up our needle configuration.
So it's very
Or-
artistic.
It's
is.
very,
Well, and
very,
if
very
you're doing
artistic.
something bald, you have to draw on their
When
hairline.
you're,
Where's it
the
going
thing
to
is
start?
with permanent makeup, and you're, say, let's take you measuring eyebrows, you're kind of trying to get the eyebrows exactly the same both sides. Well, actually a hairline, you try and measure a hairline and you can't. You actually do have to, obviously you can measure it, but you have to use your eye.
So your artistic eye for symmetry.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
someone's
There's no
head is just
measuring
isn't the
tools
same.
per se.
You know, and people have lumps, bumps, scars.
That's it.
There's
Yeah.
all sorts that goes on the
We
head.
teach the
Well,
students.
and the head's very
measure.
vascular. It's very
Yeah. So
vascular.
vascular.
Yeah, and that's again another reason why you can't, because you can never double dot. If you double dot, so once you go in with scalp micropigmentation, once you go into the skin and your needle has pierced the skin, you cannot go over that again on the first
Which
session.
students always want to do. They're like, oh, I missed it. Nope, don't.
Just leave it.
Just leave it.
Just
let it.
leave it, let it heal,
heal
go
it.
back to it when they come
Okay,
back
gotcha.
when they come back.
If
for
you
the
go
second
into
session,
the same dot,
you will cause a
second
blowout.
Blowout.
You'll cause a
you've
blowout.
already
It's
got
so
that
vascular.
vacuum.
Yeah.
It's so vascular up there. The blood to the head, and it's just, it's thin. It's very, very thin. You don't need to go in twice.
So just like every single area of permanent makeup or tattooing, whether it's an eyebrow or eyeliner, lip, areola, scalp, each procedure has its own set of challenges,
yeah, exactly
technical
that. Yeah.
challenges,
Yeah.
design challenges, all kinds of challenges. So that I knew the answer to that, but I wanted you guys to answer for our listeners to hear you speak on that. I did scalp work back in the day. I did
Oh, I
whole
love
heads.
that.
I did.
Did
I don't
not
know,
know
if I ever
that.
told you. Did not know
No, I
that.
didn't know.
I did. I probably did about, I would say maybe 15
Yep.
total bald heads in my career.
Did you enjoy it?
I I
'Cause
did
it's not for everyone, and
it-
we get
no.
that, don't we? It's not
Yeah.
for everyone.
Yeah, and it wasn't for me.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't for me. But I got headaches. It
Yeah.
gave me headaches.
Oh, okay,
Mhm.
concentration.
Yes.
You do
You
go home
see-
sort of dreaming
Yeah.
of dots,
I would
don't
end
you?
up seeing
You too. Dots.
what do you call it? Like a what's that word? An aura of
You do.
of
You
dots.
close your eyes, and that's what you.
We
that's
have
Yes.
to
what I
step
see.
away,
Yeah,
don't
like
we?
you know
have to
those
step away.
pictures of dots, and you stare at them, and
And
you
you
see
might
an
see
image.
something.
And it goes in.
I can't look at them.
Oh,
I get a damn headache. Well, you get headaches, Willow. Can you look at those paintings that are all dots and try to find the image within it? Yeah, I look at them. So I'm headache sensitive anyway. A lot of things give me a headache. So when I started getting into it, I liked the technical work of it, and you have to be a very critical thinker doing scalp
Very,
work,
yeah.
and it's very methodical,
Yeah.
which is right along with my personality of having OCD and perfectionism, being very methodical. But I discovered that it gave me really bad migraines.
It can. To be fair,
Yeah.
we suffer with headaches, don't we? And but
Yeah.
I tend to wear my magnifiers, and then I'll take them off, and even that straight away I feel like I can't see properly for
Yeah.
a minute. So you just let your eyes adjust, and sometimes you do just
I
sort
think
of
it's
step
just
away,
learning.
don't
I think
you?
it's
And
just learning how
your
your
limits
limit,
as well.
yeah, your own limitations. Like, and I do tend to sort of step away. Like Kerry said, we do step away. You should step away anyway, because you can get way too involved
Yeah.
and start tattooing
Yeah,
where you don't
you
even
do
need
say
to
that
be.
step
At the end of the day,
away.
you will see scalp, whether it's been tattooed or not, whether it needs it or not. It shouldn't be completely covered, should it?
That's it.
Yeah,
I think it's just limitations, but I get headaches anyway, regardless of scalp or PMU.
Yeah,
so
me too.
I
I'm
would
sensitive,
be
so
struggled
that's
to
probably why they
Concentration,
really bother.
frowning, and
Yeah. Well, and they're tiny little dots.
And I think
I
the
mean-
more you do, again, because it's the muscle memory, that obviously you have to concentrate along with any kind of form of tattooing. But I think when you first start, you concentrate more, and I think you stiffen up. I think a lot of our students, what they say is they stand really, really stiff.
clenching their bums or
I mean,
butts,
we-
butts as you
yeah,
say.
yeah.
Well, I said to Kerry actually, this is quite funny.
I know what you're going to
Say
say.
it anyway. I said to Kerry the other day, I was stood in your salon clinic. Is that what I don't know what you
Studio.
Studio.
I was stood in your studio, and I went to I said, I've got a really tight butt. She said,
A tight butt.
what? I realised that I was squeezing and holding my bum
Clenching.
in whilst I was working, like clenching. So I must have looked like I had a cauliflower bum. And then I realised that you had a camera in your room.
Yeah, me and Kat were me and Kat Willow.
What
literally,
is
we
her
were all over
arse
here zooming in
doing?
on your cauliflower butt, laughing.
But it does. We do. We both stand. You're like.
So I genuinely think you do
clenching.
So you
stiffen
tense up.
when you've done it a long time,
Which can give you a headache and a migraine.
massively,
because that's
yeah.
one of the big things is make sure your face and your head and your neck is
God,
relaxed.
You do, don't you?
Can't
Even now, like I'm relaxed
Yeah.
doing it and I enjoy it. But you do sometimes, like
Well, you
if
know
I'm
what
doing
I did a
pressure, you
lot-
set your
Watching you,
shoulders
aren't
and
they?
stuff.
Well, you
don't
know what I did a lot of was back in the day. I stopped doing the full heads, but what I remained doing a lot of until kind of there was just no more clients for it was. Men would get transplants, and they would have the transplant scar in the back of the head
tract,
from ear to
like
ear.
the FUT,
Yeah, I used to fill those in a lot, and because I could get that done in a couple of hours,
And it looks amazing,
and it
doesn't
looked
it?
amazing.
What a result.
And you can, talking about the couple of hours as well, because obviously it is your choice as an SMP artist whether you want to stand there for 4 hours or not. You can
Right.
just make
Right.
some clients
You know
might
someone
not
that
want to.
Splits it, don't you?
Yeah, so a friend of mine, she is a PMU artist as well, and she does SMP, and she gets so bored. She can't concentrate for more than 3 hours at a time. She likes to see different clients. She likes a day mixed up.
Yeah.
So she actually gives 2 hour sessions for SMP and just brings them back more. And actually that's okay with her clients. They don't mind that. They
So
don't
do
know
you
any
think
different
it's
anyway.
a certain personality that is going to really take to SMP and enjoy? Because you want to enjoy your work.
Potentially, but I think we're
just think
probably
just
not
manage it
the
how you wanna-
personality to
Yeah.
enjoy it, are we really? Because so I've got ADHD combined, so I'm all over the show anyway.
Right.
So I hyper focus, but then I get bored really quickly.
Okay.
But weirdly, and I think we've both said the same, haven't we? Because you're chaotic as well. We like
Very
I've
self-diagnosed me.
self-diagnosed her as ADHD as well because I've got it, so she has. But and I am a bit OCD, but weirdly I find it so therapeutic. Which, if I stereotyped my personality, that wouldn't be the case.
Yeah,
but
I can see
do.
where that could be therapeutic because you almost can get lost.
Loads-
in it
lo-
and
you
just-
do. It's
'cause-
exactly
yeah,
what
because you're doing the
happens.
same movement over and over and over
Yep,
and over
so
and
you
over.
get your-
One of our
almost like a
students-
trance.
Yeah, exactly.
It is
Yeah.
a trance. It is a trance. So one Brie said that I think it was Brie. Yeah, she said that she went, oh my god. So Brie was one of our students this week. She said, "Oh my God," she said, "I didn't realise how much I was going to love this." She was like, "I wanted to give up PMU." She went, "I want to do this all the time." Now, actually, there's a few of our students that actually don't even really entertain PMU anymore because they've been so successful with SMP. Because let's face it, it's not as saturated.
No. So it's not. So let's talk about that. So SMP is, and I have a question that I do want to ask you about a gadget. I call it a gadget, but me and Willow, we saw it, and I'm going to ask. Don't let me forget to ask that, Willow. But I want to segue into SMP is definitely a male-dominated industry, and you don't see a lot of women doing it. Especially women that are standouts. I mean, they've really made a name and a brand for themselves. So when I came across you two, and you wanted to come here, of course, we're stalking your Instagrams, we're looking at your work, we're looking at you, and
I like that you did that, though.
100%. Yeah. I may have even asked. I do have some friends over there in the UK, so I may have asked. Are they good humans? Are they cool? Like, are they good trained? Well, you want to bring people in that are.
It's a representation of you.
Anybody I bring into the Girlz Ink studio, if the class isn't good, even though I'm not the one teaching it.
It's an affiliation, isn't it?
It is an association. It's a reflection of me. I think people that come to the Girlz Ink studio, they're trusting my opinion of other trainers. If I'm bringing you two in, then you must be better. No, not just good. You are excellent. You are great humans. You're dedicated trainers. You care about your students, and you work hard, in your training classes. Like, you're diehard trainers. That's what I want. So of course I ended up having like a really great feeling, and so excited, and there was a little other part to that excitement was finally,
I love
finally, here are two women. I thought the two of you together was very interesting, and it fascinated me, especially the look. So here we go with the look again.
Can't say.
Yes, yeah. Because you're distinctive. The two of you separate are distinctive, but when you put the two of you together, it's even more.
It's intriguing.
It's intriguing, and it's instinctive. It's very distinctive, and it's eye-catching. The work you do is brilliant. That's an English term, isn't it?
Brilliant.
I
love that. It's brilliant.
It's brilliant
And lovely.
Usually
and lovely.
So over
so
here,
lovely.
yeah,
so lovely.
It's so lovely. It's brilliant. Over here,
so
we say
lovely.
it's so dope, or it's like really super good, But yeah, so I say use
Lovely.
But no, your skill level is out of this world. You're really super skilled.
Thank you.
So I thought, well, maybe with these two, I don't know yet. I don't really know them yet, but maybe these two are going to be the disruptors. The two women, that are going to come into SMP and really make a name for themselves and really elevate the SMP industry so it is more attractive to women.
100%. Because I think as well, like.
Can I ask you one thing before, not to interrupt you?
Yep.
What was it like, or what is it still like for you coming into the SMP world as women? You guys are going to the conventions.
I think that we can be overlooked.
Definitely.
Right.
I think we don't get too involved. We're so in our own world, me and Jess, that literally, like, our husbands get on really well, and they just, like, when we're together, they're just like, it's just us, and it's just us and everyone around it, isn't it? But I think, yes, there's for sure, I think you could be seen as a bit of a minority, or perhaps maybe not as serious or as good at SMP because we're a couple of girls, but I don't let it bother me. I just think we just stay in our lane and we're focused. We know we're good. Yeah. We know we work hard. We know we're ethical. We know our training is of a really bloody good standard. We work so hard to just do what we do and love what we do and give the best training. So if maybe there's people that don't think that's great, or that, maybe they think it's a bit humorous or whatever, I couldn't give a shit.
Well,
I couldn't give a shit. I'm trying to be polite.
Why would anybody find it humorous? So you're two women in this.
We're just two women coming in that love scalp micropigmentation, and we're having a fucking laugh.
Well, I think it's about
and we
time.
And actually
not
we want to
teach. There's not women doing scalp work. There is.
Yeah, let's bring more in.
100%.
And this is what we're saying. We're going to rock the industry.
If more haven't come in because it's intimidating.
I think it
because
is.
it is
Yeah.
male dominated.
I think it is.
Right?
We've had that feedback from students because we always say, what made you pick us? Because we want to know. Like, we're curious. We're like,
Yeah.
There's some
you've got
amazing
such a
scalp
good
artists out
choice,
there.
and incredible trainers,
it's the
incredible
look.
artists. The look.
No.
Shit at
No, but
SMP,
you're-
but the look.
Yeah. No, but I think you're right. And you know, in what in this class, there was a really, I think, really amazing takeaway from this class for me. And we talked about it last night.
Yeah.
And when I walked in and we were booking the students, and you guys wanted a bald male head so bad, and we couldn't find a bald male head to book. And what did we end up booking all 3 days? Numerous women.
Yeah, and
that
this
had-
is it. It's evolving the
that-
women, and
yes,
it
that
needs
had
to get
thinning
out there.
hair, thinning
Yeah,
hair,
yeah.
bald spots,
Yeah.
sparse spots.
It's massive,
And for so
it's
many
so big. And the
reasons,
thing
isn't
is,
it?
as well, for so many reasons, medical, hormonal,
We've had lots of weight loss surgery clients as well.
Huge gastric.
Loads. Gastric
thyroid
glands,
issues can make you lose
Yeah.
your hair. My
Yeah.
mum
There's
is
so much.
thinning
There's
on
so,
top.
and actually, a lot of women they didn't actually realise that this treatment, and they still don't, that this treatment is available.
You know
because
why?
it was so male dominated
and
as
it's
well.
not marketed. And you guys call it density work.
Yep.
So there's the bald head and 99.9% of that, if not more, is going to be male.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. But with density work,
They're like, what's that?
Yeah.
You
there
know?
are hundreds of thousands of women.
I think there's more.
walking around.
There's more. I think there's more.
with
desperate
thinning
for
hair,
it.
thinning patches, bald
100
spots.
We did
you
it on
know.
one of our students on the course. She's like, "Can you do mine?" Well, actually,
Yeah.
two of them.
Yes.
would,
Yeah, I
but
did.
one couldn't.
I did.
Yeah.
And they
Nice.
don't know
We
it's
don't.
and they're embarrassed by it. My hairdresser, I was talking to her about this class coming, and she has 2 or 3 clients where she was fascinated by it. She had never heard of it.
Yeah.
But she had 2 or 3 hairdressing clients where she leaves the hair a little bit longer strategically
Yep,
on
they
one side to cover
part it one way
part it one
or
way. Where
don't
You'll be
wear it
so
out.
surprised how many. Honestly, that hair loss is massive.
But it's not being marketed
No, so this is what we're here to do.
towards
Yeah.
women that
Yeah.
have this issue that affects their self-esteem and how they feel about themselves.
Oh,
They're embarrassed by
massively.
it. They're
Yeah.
covering it. They're always afraid the wind's going to blow their hair and expose the thinning spot. My
It
mum
really
hates it.
bothers
My
them.
mum wears
Yeah.
hair pieces.
I had a client, didn't I, that girl the other day, bless her, and she didn't know anything about it. She's not really on social media or anything, so she's not really seeing the posts. And it was it's a friend of a friend, and she's been wearing like the dark sort of like coloured dry shampoo for years. She wouldn't even really go swimming with her children because she's like, I can't, because it was, bless her heart, it was really
bothers people.
severe.
Yeah.
But she messaged me, we got the pictures and I sent them to her. I was like, oh look, and she sent me a picture saying like, done my first hair wash on day 6, and she went, I honestly was scared that like, what if it does wash out, sort of thing, because I just couldn't believe that this potentially was not going to wash
The
out.
confidence it gives ladies
Yeah, it's
and men and
heart-melting.
men.
No, and I don't want to.
Oh, we love doing men's
This is
hair,
all
don't we?
The
inclusive.
confidence,
Yeah,
the
but-
confidence it gives ladies
it's an
and men
untapped
is
Men are
unreal.
always talked about. I mean,
This is
that's
it.
a
For the
given.
women-
It's known.
Yes.
And that's
Yeah,
why I
and
wanted
this
to
is an
focus
untapped
on the
market.
female client.
And actually, a lot of people that we train in SMP, they're both beginners and already already doing permanent makeup. A lot of people, a lot of them, they've already got their client. They've already
Yeah.
got their clients because
They got their
they
permanent
got
makeup clients. They're
they've got
doing
the permanent
eyebrows,
makeup clients.
eyeliner,
They're
lips
women.
on.
They're
Yes.
women.
Yeah.
You're basically halfway there
Yeah.
already, and this is what's happened. I just think I know it's not a thing. I know this is going to come in. This
Well,
is
you
coming
know,
in as a storm.
you know,
it is
you
a storm.
know. So I've come to the decision that me and Kat and Willow over there behind the controls, that this is your duty. This is this is your responsibility.
Yep.
To
We'll take it.
To get
We'll
this.
take that. Yeah, we'll
to
have that one.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll help you any way I can. I think this needs to be
Thank
talked
you.
about more. There needs to be a spotlight on this,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it needs to be more available. And the only way it's going to be more available and more accessible and realized by the female population that this is available is if more
They talk.
permanent makeup artists segue or
Come
into this type of work.
Come into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
And
think it's a
share
beautiful
it, talk
time
about it.
in history in our industry to come
It's
into
amazing.
it.
It is. It's so,
yes.
we
It's
get
the start.
so
do you know what?
excited, don't we?
We do get.
We
I'm
lay in
excited
bed.
now
Yeah,
thinking about
we
it.
lay in bed and we're like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Or like after like if we don't talk for a day, it's weird, isn't it? I feel all like, oh,
Yeah.
What's she not messaged me for? Stop
Yeah.
being busy without me or whatever.
Well, when we left
you know.
last night, I was all giddy and talking all the way home. I was so excited, like talking.
Oh, we were like,
about
we were
all
like
the
that,
ideas. Oh God,
When I flung
you,
herself
you
down
were on your
Fremont
way to
Street.
Fremont Street, and you weren't
Oh,
thinking
my
about a
God.
damn thing except that zip line. No.
I was petrified of that.
Yeah, I mean, I had all
But
these
we
like,
were, and it's like we
ideas.
said, you know, it's all everything's like thought provoking, and I love that. It makes me get excited. I'll talk
Yeah.
about it all day long to anyone that will listen. Like our husbands again, like
We
because they
just
live with
bore
us.
them, probably. But
They
yeah.
like well, we've
Oh, they
shown
love
both
it,
of
don't
them
they?
how to do it, haven't we? And they
Yeah,
know
well,
how to do it.
So
And
is density work? Is it easier? Is it so density work? Just to be clear, so our listeners know, it's not like a whole head. It's like when a woman like maybe their part is too wide, or they've got some thinning spots. It's like they got hair on their head, and you're just going to fill it in and make it look fuller and denser. So is density work? Is it harder or is it easier than
Different.
like doing a bald guy?
I think it's different.
bald
So
head.
you've got challenges with both, and you've got skill with both. So I think with the obviously like the bold shaved head, you've got to draw and create and map that hairline, and obviously there's no
It's like an open canvas kind of.
Exactly. There's no room for error.
But there shouldn't. But our saying is there shouldn't be an error anyway. You should be able to.
should be hiding behind the
You should
hair
be
that
hiding
they've
behind
got.
the hair. Each impression or dot impression, whatever
Yeah.
you want to call it.
We need to
It
think of
should be
something.
perfect. Yeah, we need a name.
Need to
You
help
do
us
need
think
a
of a
name.
name for these.
Impression is too long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like no one, I can't say myself. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
And
need
it's not
another
a dot.
impression
A
here.
dot is
It needs to
almost
be like a
it's
3-letter
offensive.
word.
It does.
Well, let's put it out to our Tatter-a-fact,
Yeah.
our
Help us.
listeners.
Yeah. Help us. Help us.
So in the comments, please. So Kelly, Carrie, and Jess, they need a name to call Dot. They don't want to call it Dot.
Yeah.
But I think it should be a short word. Like
Yeah.
impression is
Off
too
the
long.
tongue.
Off
Yes.
the tongue.
Yeah.
That would make sense.
Mm.
That would make sense.
So please help.
Yeah. Yeah.
You sounded very
Yeah.
British then.
So
People
please
that
help.
follow the Tatter-a-fact and listen to Tatter-a-fact, they're tatter-tots.
I love that.
Yeah. love
and I want to
that.
give. I always
Yeah.
want to give credit to the gal that turned me on to that word. I forgot her name. I did give her credit. I think.
Brilliant.
Lazzy. Yeah. Isn't that cute? But
I
you
love
need a
that.
name like Tot.
We do. We do.
But not Dot.
Yeah.
I don't like Dot.
We do.
And it
There-
doesn't. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be It doesn't have to rhyme with Dot. It just has to be a really cool word.
It's a really
Just
cool
something
word that will
quick,
represent
catchy.
it.
Quick
that
and
everyone
catchy.
will know. It's that's what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That you can brand and trademark
Yeah.
and be a part of your whole brand.
Yeah, exactly that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think so.
And I think density, when you're working with density,
I like
the
that word
challenges
though.
are the
I like density. I
Density.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, because
It
that's kind of
says
what
what
it
it's
is.
doing,
It
isn't
says
it?
what
You-
it's doing.
I think
Yeah.
with density, obviously you're matching up. You're not just matching up.
So
Like
there's
drawing a
cut-
hairline.
Yeah.
Drawing a
Which you
hairline.
do
You're doing
sometimes,
you're
but-
doing you're matching up hair color. You're matching up the tone of their
Yeah.
skin as well. How's
Is there
that
more
going to heal
color
in the
theory
skin?
involved with
Yes.
density work?
Yes. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. There is. I mean,
There's probably another whole layer of color theory because
There
with
is-
a bald head, there's color theory because the scalp is so vascular, so it
Yeah.
tends to pull cool.
Yeah.
you've also
Yeah.
got like the needle theory as well, haven't you? With that. Sorry, Teryn. I
Yeah.
interrupted you there,
Yeah.
But yeah.
So density, you've got the scalp, the skin itself
Yep.
that you have to think critically about in color theory,
Yep.
but then you have to match the hair.
Well, also, and then it's like that conversation of, you know, is your hair dyed? Okay, how long do you because we're
Yeah.
future proofing things.
Yeah.
What's your intentions with your hair over the next, 5 years, 10 years, and so forth.
Yeah.
So that comes into it, and you have to think of all
Or
these
if they're
different things.
currently dyeing their hair like every 3 or 4 weeks. So
Do you go from blonde to red to this to that? Okay, well then you have to have that open and
So you
honest
must have
conversation.
all these questions
You've got to
on your
have
intake
such a
forms.
thorough consultation,
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
and actually, not everyone can have it.
Well, what
if
about-
someone dyes their
It's
hair
okay
from
to say
black
no.
to blonde, then they're not going to be your candidate.
Well, what
because-
about like the sun? What about like if you're doing like a whole head, like a bald? And I mean, the sun hits the first.
SPF.
I mean, it's just SPF. They have to be
SPF,
super good and diligent
hats,
about
yeah,
SPF
yeah,
and hats
yeah,
and whatnot.
yeah.
And
Okay.
ultimately,
Should be
we
doing that
can't
anyway.
make them do that. But I always, I'm really honest with my clients. I'm like,
We know
this
that
is
they're
what
not.
you've got to
Yeah.
do.
If you don't, I'm
you
going to
don't.
know.
Exactly.
exactly
But
that.
also-
And then they all look and like, oh my
And
god,
I'm
now
going
I'm
to charge
scared.
you extra to
Yeah,
correct it.
but why spend that money if you're not going to look after
Yeah.
it and sit through the treatment? Spend good money having, say, a full shaved head done.
Do you find that most take care of it because the investment, the
I
money
think
involved?
they do because actually it bothers people a lot more. Sometimes they're really honest and they'll say how bothered they are by their hair loss. Other times, I'll get some guys come in that are, quite shy, uncomfortable, and then others will come in and they come across quite, like, it don't really bother me, but saw you do it, so I thought I'd give it a go. You're not going to give it a go when you're spending that money. You're bothered by it, and and that's okay. That's how they're feeling comfortable to get through the appointment. But they do, because you get that thing, don't you, at the end? Like we always say, first session, say on a shaved head, we're like, you're going to see it, it's going to look good, but wait for 2 and 3. That's when it's like you really see it. But you see them, like, as the sessions go on, they're like, they just stand there, their confidence, the shoulders go back, and the same with women. They just
it's just amazing.
I think
I
men
love
and
doing
women
I love doing density.
Yeah.
I like it all, but I love doing girls. I love doing girls.
You get good reaction as well. Like I think
because they're generally just really shocked. And again, going back to it, that they didn't know this was available. So it's like shock after shock.
They
it's like,
thought
oh my
it
God,
was men,
it's
and
amazing.
they thought it was only shaved heads.
And
And
it does
it's like,
look
because
good.
that's all you see all
Looks
over
good.
Instagram and marketing. You just see, male artists doing male clients, which is great.
It's amazing.
It is amazing.
But,
I
and
had Chris
some
Herrera
women-
on here
and actually
last
some-
year.
yeah,
He's
some women-
amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some women do feel more comfortable with women as well.
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
because
for
they're
sure.
embarrassed about
That
their bald
And
head.
some men do go into men as well.
Yeah,
And that's
okay.
absolutely
Well, that's
okay.
kind of that's kind of human,
and we get that.
nature, or it tends to be, right? Tends to
and
be.
that's fine.
Yeah.
But I'm here to rock
And
the
I
girl
think,
world.
yeah.
Do you find men, because women are, I think both men and women both equally are vain. I think it comes down
of
to the
course.
person, not really the gender. But with that said, I think women are more to do something about it, where
Yes.
men are more reluctant to do anything about it, right?
Yeah.
So do you find that's a struggle with men? Okay, they're bald. It does age, makes them maybe look a little bit older. Some men love being bald, and they wear it proudly, and they're and women are
husband's
attracted
fit
to
and he's
bald.
bald.
Yeah, so it
I
doesn't.
love it.
So it doesn't matter that you're bald. It matters that you're, you've bald and it's bothering you, and it's affecting your self-esteem.
Exactly that.
So are you finding men are hesitant to go seek help?
Yes, and actually,
Yes,
I actually
sometimes.
think, I think it's changing now.
We get the
changing.
wives of our clients.
Yes,
will
I
quite
think it's
often get
changing
our
a little
male
bit now,
clients.
but I think SMP, especially in the UK, it was quite slow. It's been quite a slow transition, popular treat.
I
it's
think
been
people
quite
were
slow.
waiting to see how it healed too.
They are, and I'll tell you what it is as well, is because it was only really marketed for men. Men, the typical British man 10 years ago doesn't really talk about, he's not going to tell his friends. I've done
No.
people where I'm like, don't put that on social media. Or can you put a fake scar in there so people don't know? Or don't do my hairline perfect because I'm not telling any one of my friends.
Yeah.
So actually, when you're trying to get something out, we as tattooists, permanent makeup artists, SMP artists, we rely on people to spread the word.
Yeah.
They're not spreading the word.
They're not spreading the word.
What's happening now is, now that density is becoming more popular and women are having the treatment, most women talk. They like to talk. We're raving about, especially in the UK, they're raving about, even in the USA, they're telling about the treatments. People want to talk. They're overwhelmed, and women like supporting, most women like supporting other women as well. So they want to tell their friend that this is available. So I think that's why it's getting out
that's
there.
what it is,
and I
and
think that is what's going to change the game. I really believe.
I agree with
that
you.
it's-
I think women coming into
it's-
SMP, it's going to blow it up.
It's
I
going to
think
blow it
it's
up.
so
It
exciting.
100% is going to. That is what's going to
Massively.
rock.
It's
That
going
is
to
what's
blow
going
it
to
up.
rock it.
Not that the men haven't been doing a good job. I've got some
Amazing.
good friends that do SMP.
Amazing.
And they're
Amazing.
doing a great
Insane
job. But
artists and
it's just
trainers out there.
it's just a matter. And it's not. But I think you're right. I think women coming in, it's going to expose
There's
it
space
to
for us.
more women.
There is space for
and
us.
then those women may talk to their husbands or their partners that have complained that they're balding and don't, aren't happy that they're balding. It's affecting them. I think it's going to open up conversation between men and
Massive.
women, and I really do. I think it's going to be
do
great for the industry. And as you said earlier, there are going to be maybe some old schoolers or some people in SMP that they're not really digging that women are blowing into the industry, because it has been like a male industry. But that happened in body tattooing, too.
Absolutely.
It happened in body. You can't stop us, girls. We're coming.
We are
We're-
coming.
we're
We're already
coming.
here.
We're coming. Yeah, but I think probably look, I've got a couple real good friends that are SMP dudes, and I think they're amazing humans. I think most of the industry, most of them will be
And I think
very welcoming and
I think when it's done right and the people doing it are doing it responsibly, ethically, and they're not in it for quick money, you can earn really good money doing it. But when you're in it, yes, we all work to earn a living and pay our bills. Of course we do. Let's be honest.
Right.
But when your intentions are genuine and pure, and you are, and I say it a lot, but when you are ethical, why can't we all support that? You know, regardless of us being females, them being
it doesn't
men.
matter, does it? I've got some really good friends that are SMP men.
We have.
Yeah. Well, I 100%.
We're here
And they're incredible. We're here for it, and they're there for it. They're you know.
So I had one last question. We probably got to wrap it up in a little bit. But so this gadget I was talking about. So we saw something. Was it on Instagram, Willow? I think we saw it. And
I think I've sent it to you if it's what I think it is.
I'm just dying. I had to bring it up. I had to bring it up. But there was a couple of things that we brought. What was the other one, Willow? There was 2 things that we saw that was. I was like,
So I've
oh,
seen
good
2
lordy.
things.
It was the one that was like you hold it and it like swipes back and forth.
Like a whip shade.
Oh
thing.
yeah, and it put in the like you didn't have to do anything, Carrie.
Could you
you would
imagine
just
whip
hold
shade in the
it.
head?
Oh,
You would
are
just
saying
hold
about that? No, dreadful.
Shocking.
And
lazy,
what was the other one we saw? We
lazy.
talked about 2.
It just
I've seen a roller. Like, it looks like a pastry cutter.
Yes.
Have you seen that bad boy?
Do you know what will happen next? People will be getting, do you know them micro rollers that they use for facials?
Oh, I know what it was.
Dipping it in and rolling
I know what
over
it
the
was.
head.
Okay, so yeah, so
And there's that machine that's got like a group of needles that just goes.
yes, it puts the
No.
dots in.
That's
So
not
it's a
creative.
machine.
I think it's
No.
lazy. Do you know what?
I love it. I'm the same
think-
way.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, I don't
it's
think-
great that, you know, needles have got better. Everything's got better, like, because things evolve and we have more knowledge and experience.
The
and stuff.
artists
We
have
do it
gotten
because
better.
we're artists.
Yes.
We do
Yeah.
we do the job not just for the money, the financial
It's the
gain,
passion, it's
but
the
for
art.
the passion game, the art. We're artists.
Well, who do you think
There's
is
no
sitting
art.
there,
I
you know,
don't know.
behind the desk thinking, you know what?
I don't know.
This
Even with
is
all
revolutionary.
these amazing SMP artists and talent out there, I'm going to create this little
Cookie cutter.
Maybe it's just
roller.
like
tool that, you could just grab it and roll dots. Sorry, I'm
I'd
saying
like to
dots.
see, I'd like to
Lazy.
see the healed result, and in 5 years' time,
You might get a couple that heal well
I
because
don't
they've
think
hit
it's
correctly. They might have just hit the skin correctly on a
I don't know
couple
much
of bits,
about
but
them,
I just think it's lazy.
Like, well, it kind of I don't know.
Everyone's
I don't know
trying
about
to-
that, man. You're
everyone's
taking the
trying to-
artistry and the skill
I
right
just
out
think
of
you're
it.
taking it,
Yeah.
and that actually is.
Well,
it's
not-
annoying.
it is annoying.
And you're trying to like everyone, and there's nothing wrong with being innovative. I'm all for people growing and coming up with new ideas and being successful in business, but also people try and recreate the wheel too often, and it's
Yeah.
like
Just leave it.
works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You might find your little flair and your little techniques. We all do that. That's how
Right.
we can market ourselves for sure. And you know, people do have certain ways and methods that work good, but everyone's trying to, or a lot of people are trying to create this big innovative thing, and sometimes it's like
They want to be the one, don't they? Just be,
Yeah.
just be happy that you're really good at it
Right.
and you're doing that. Stop
Perfect
trying to invent
that.
something
Perfect
that we
that.
don't need.
Yeah.
AI, like we said last
AI.
night. It's like that. What's going on?
Well, it's scary as all hell.
Yeah.
AI. But so the other I call them gadgets. The other I don't know what to say. Instrument gadget.
Thing.
But yeah, is it was a depth guard. It was this plastic thing you would put on the end of your machine.
No, because everyone's
Learn
skin's
your
that would
different. Learn it.
Yeah,
Learn
that
it.
would keep the needle.
And actually, that's not hard. Learning depth is easy. It's just
lazy.
But then
isn't
you've got
it?
different
Well, I
skin
think
depths.
it's
you've got, what about then when you're working over scarring then?
Well,
because that's going to be
pitting,
completely
yeah.
different.
Yeah, we had a whole conversation about it, and I think it's really that I didn't speak too much on the scalp thing because I don't do scalp, but I thought, man, I really want to talk to some scalp artists and see how they felt about this.
It's
But
not
the
for
depth
me.
guard,
It's a no
It's
from
a
me.
no from me.
Yeah.
I do not.
yeah.
Entertain
Well, I'm not
that.
even I don't even do SMP, and it was
I
a no
do
for
not
me.
entertain them
Right.
gadgets
But the
whatsoever.
depth guard, I think that puts newbies and young artists, at a big, huge
Risk.
disadvantage because
And risky.
eventually you have to take off the training wheels.
Yeah, you do.
And you
Well, it's like
have to
bowling,
learn
isn't it?
it.
It's like
Learn
bowling
it.
with
Learn
the
it.
Just
gates
learn
up.
it.
Just learn it,
Learn
do
it.
it, and do it well.
Yeah.
You're
But
never learning
but
and
I
growing if
kinda
you're
think-
relying on technology.
I think these things, these safety guards, like the depth guard that you could put on the end of it, I think that's not having. I kind of see it as they don't
it's weird.
have. What's the word I'm looking for, Willow? Help me out. You always help me out. They don't have not passion, but when
Confidence.
they don't have the confidence in us
Yeah.
that we're able to learn that artists are
Actually,
able
it's
to
quite
learn that.
offensive. Isn't it?
It's a little
It's-
offensive.
You've wound her up now.
It's like we can learn depth. If you got into this industry, that's one of the very
your
first
depth.
things you have to learn.
It's part
Is
of
depth.
the industry.
It's
It's,
part-
part of the job.
It's
It's part of the thing.
it's part of
what
the
is
technique.
It's
Yeah.
part, it is the whole
Yeah.
thing.
and you can put it off a little
This is
bit with a
going back
depth guard, but
lazy.
eventually that depth guard is not going to work for you because
No.
depth changes.
Learn your
it's like-
skill,
yeah.
learn it well.
Yeah.
Be be kind to yourself and knowing that you've got growth. You're going to get better and better and better the more you do,
Yeah.
and you do. The
and
more you do,
sometimes
the more you
getting
get
it
better.
wrong. I've made mistakes doing my job in the past. It's how you learn it. My husband's
Yeah.
head. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
But it's
for
how you
me,
learn.
I personally, if that was offered to me, early on, and that was offered to me, and you can use that, and you will never go too deep, or do you? I never would have chose the safety net of a depth guard, and that's brand new. I've
the
never
best-
seen anything like it. It's this brand new thing that just popped up on Instagram.
I've
but-
seen
The
it
best
before.
gadget you'll ever have for any kind of tattoo work, SMP, permanent makeup, is these. Is
Yeah.
your hands.
It's your
That is it.
hands,
It's
your artistic
hands.
eye,
Your
your
eye-
brain,
it's
your
every-
thinking.
it's
Your
just-
knowledge, educate yourself,
Yeah.
learn. People
Just
do
use
one
it,
course and think
combine
they know
it.
everything.
And,
Yeah.
and I would think you would want to if you
Well,
get
yeah.
into
Well, I
this
find it really
industry.
strange when
That
someone would opt for
isn't that like
gadgets.
passion? That's the
Yeah.
passion for learning, passion to want to learn it inside and out and all
Because we all,
all around.
We all start somewhere, don't you? You all take your first course, and
Yeah.
I think you can learn a lot from that. And you have a great trainer. We say to our students, keep learning. This
Yeah.
is just the beginning. We
Yeah.
do a
Don't
really
stop.
bloody good course,
Yeah.
but keep learning. We offer them to come back for free and spend days with us on workshops because we're like, you still need to keep learning. I've done tons of courses. Jess has
Yeah,
have
our
along
courses
the
don't
years.
just stop there.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
Watch,
forever, whatever you
integrate, like
need.
you say, get on the groups. Even if you're not posting, just sit and watch. That's fine. Read what people are saying, see
Yeah.
the controversies, and
So if any, so Carrie,
Mm-hmm.
if we're gonna sign off here in a minute, some of our listeners, fascinated with SMP, want to get into it, ready,
Yep.
or not quite ready, but it's on their bucket list. What advice would you give them right now in their
Do
career?
it.
Yeah,
Simply
do it.
Do
Yeah.
it because I just think, like we've said, it's been around for
What
a
about
while. but
online courses or hands-on
master
courses?
classes, but hands-on for beginners training? There's to us, and our students always say this, and we had it this week. You can't, as far as we're concerned, from our opinion, you can't learn that online. You might learn stuff and take a lot away from
Right.
that, but when our students are working, we've got our fingers next to the needle
We're
almost.
holding the
yeah.
skin,
Feeling
checking
the
their
skin,
pressure. That's
vibration,
something
sounds.
it's so valuable.
So when you're
In-house training.
first learning SMP, if you've never
In
done it
person.
before, it must be hands-on.
100%.
Once you've done hands-on and you're out there and you're
online's
doing
fine.
pretty good work,
Yeah.
Do a
then
masterclass, absolutely.
online classes are okay.
And
just
they're
to
really
learn other
valuable then
There's
to
a big
keep up
place
to
for
date
'em.
with new techniques, what other people are doing. That is 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think a beginner,
Should be hands-on.
even if you're a permanent makeup artist or a tattooist, it should still be hands-on because the pressure, the depth, the pigments, inks, what we're using is completely different.
We
Okay.
had a tattoo artist actually on that, an incredible tattoo artist that does a lot of pointillism work. And they were like, I just want to make sure I'm doing it right, basically. And they weren't being, discrediting what we do. They paid to come to our course. So obviously they saw value in it.
Yeah.
But even, you'll probably know who I'm thinking of, one of someone else. But she said, she's like, it's so much harder and different than I thought. She's like, the pressure she went is, it's like a nano of a second difference between being too deep, not in the skin long enough.
Yeah.
It's so
It's
Well,
precise.
that
So-
skin's thin.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
know
It's
how
thin.
precise it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's precision work.
It is.
100%. Okay, Jess. So, what can we ask you? What advice? What advice? I want you to leave our listeners with something.
I just think that you should stay in line with what you are doing rather than getting too obsessed and overthinking what others are doing and worrying. I think that you should always invest in yourself, and if you want to do something, do it, be good at it, and be kind to yourself.
Okay.
And do
I
research.
love that.
Yeah,
With
definitely
who
do
you're
your
going to.
research.
Well, if anybody's
Just,
like
the only
anybody listening,
competition is you in life.
I believe that.
Invest in yourself and invest in training and invest in making friendships in the industry, actually,
Absolutely.
because no one knows everything.
Yeah.
No one.
No. What's that saying we say, Willow? We're better together than we
100%.
Stronger together.
better. We're better together than we are. What's
I'm blanking on it.
Oh, come on. It's our motto.
Maybe also come to the PMU festival.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to leave you
We're
with.
stronger together than we are alone.
It is, yeah.
But it
it's-
is-
I think
it's
it was
stronger.
more profound than that. I don't know.
I felt like it was harder hitting than
You
that.
made that sound really awkward.
Yeah, I know.
But it's true.
It
We're
was better than
stronger
that, but
together,
that's
We
aren't
are
just.
stronger, united.
So look, after listening to this, you know, and then when they go check out your Instagrams, like Scalp Sisters, that's where they can go check out
Yep.
your Instagrams, and from there they can find your personal Instagram, Carrie,
Yep.
and your personal
Yep.
Instagram, Jess. But Scalp Sisters on Instagram. So they're gonna probably feel drawn to you and want to take a class from you. You guys are over in the UK
Yep.
doing hands-on classes. So if someone lives over there in the UK or one of the European countries, quite easy, they can come do a hands-on class
Super
and
easy.
study under
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
You know, other areas of the world like America or that's
Well,
a
we'll
long
be
train
here.
to travel, but but
But actually,
if
our
you've
students travelled from all over this week, didn't they?
Yeah.
All across the country, which is so mind blowing. Like,
Yeah.
we
no,
love that.
this class here this week that we
Yeah.
just had this week,
Yeah.
they came from all over the country.
Yeah.
But you are going to come back here every year.
We are
We're going to have you
definitely.
next year.
Thank you. It's
Yeah.
We're
exciting.
excited.
And we're going to pick a
Yeah.
date rather soon so we can get
Yep.
it on the calendar
Yeah.
for next year.
Yep.
Some people do plan their classes out in
Yeah.
their budget for classes
100%.
a
Yeah,
good
yeah,
10
yeah.
months year in advance. So we'll do that. And you are working on an online course.
Yep.
Yep.
We
So
are, yeah.
that will be
A
available
For a
right,
masterclass.
for a
A
masterclass.
masterclass.
Yep.
Masterclass,
A
yes.
Masterclass.
A
Well
master-
done,
Class.
A
Teryn.
masterclass. Yeah, I told you I hang out with
Very
you and I
nice.
start talking English. I
Your
know.
English
I'm
root's
British.
coming out now.
I got a little English blood in me.
So
you know,
London
I do.
accent coming out now.
But I wonder if
Oi,
other
oi,
people do
treacle.
that. Yeah. I wonder if other people do that. You hang out with like English people enough and you start
Massively,
talking
isn't
with
it?
an
Yeah.
English
Well,
accent.
we've got a slight different
Do you start
accent.
talking with an
Yeah,
American
yeah,
accent?
Can you hear a difference in our like twangs and how we talk, or do we sound very the same to
So
you?
she
You all
says-
sound the same to me. No.
So she says nice.
Nice.
And I say nice.
I'll say nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
But it's a
Anyway.
slight contrast. Like you don't pick it up.
Yeah.
You know, where I see a real difference is maybe like someone from Liverpool.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
a real different. Or in Scotland. Yeah, I mean, that's a
Very
real
book,
different. Or Scotland.
Scotland.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I've got Scottish blood.
Yeah, yeah,
Which
yeah,
is
yeah.
not a Scottish accent.
It's not a
No, but you
Scottish
sound so.
accent.
We
But
established
yeah,
that on the plane.
yeah, we love the English
But thank you.
accent.
Thank
It's
you so much
fantastic.
for having us.
Yeah, we have had
and
an absolute blast.
Yeah, it's
haven't
been
we, this
amazing.
week? And you guys are amazing. We love you and thank you for having us.
Oh, well, thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. So,
Well, thank you.
and thank you for coming back here. I know, like you know, you're you got the next 2 or 3 days off to, go party, and you came
a
back
bit
to the
tired
studio
from
to
last
do
night,
this.
but-
Yeah, so I'm super
No,
stoked.
it's been a pleasure. We've loved coming in. So
Yeah,
thank
and we're sending you home with some LA Pigment scalp colors.
yes.
Yes.
We've been talking about this actually.
Yeah.
We
haven't
have been. We've
Buzzing.
stopped.
Yeah.
Even when we were out last night, we were still talking about it. So
Still talking shop. as you
Yeah,
we should
yeah.
have our best, sorry,
I'm-
our best business plans happen just when
Unplanned.
we're unplanned. Yeah.
yeah,
So thank you.
yeah, or because of Nana.
Yeah.
Your
exactly.
Nana, right?
Exactly,
she had a
yeah.
premonition. She
She
had a.
did. Nanny
she did.
Dot.
Oh, yeah, she did.
Yeah,
All right.
she did.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Well, thank
Thank
you.
you.
I'm going to sign off. All right, you guys. Thanks for hanging with me today with Carrie and Jess. Instagram, Scalp Sisters. You can find them there. Stay in the pursuit of happiness, everyone, and we will see you next time.